Great to be spending some time. Great to be spending some time with everybody this evening. The practice I've chosen to share this evening is one of my favourite practices, kind of from within the stable of core secular mindfulness practices, really. But for me, it's very much a practice that I feel almost crosses the boundary and is very applicable both as a secular and therapeutic meditation technique, highly effective in helping people who are wanting to deal with issues such as recurring bouts of anxiety or depression. Also people who wrestle a lot with being caught up in negative thought loops. This is a practice that tends to be very helpful for them, particularly if it's practiced on a repeating basis. But although it's really rooted in modern secular mindfulness practice, for me, it has a distinctly spiritual quality about it. And it moves us very much into that open place of freedom that meditation can make available to us. And that's something I'm very passionate about personally. It's something I try to communicate a lot in my teaching. It's kind of what we'll be covering in the workshop this evening, that the practice of meditation itself is a doorway to tremendous freedom, to freedom from self-doubt, to freedom from feelings of shame and unworthiness, as well as being a very practical route to help us also access improved health and well-being, both physically, mentally and emotionally. So this is a particular practice, has a rather dry title, four-step awareness, but I personally find it a very beautiful practice. And as I say, it for me, it sits in that beautiful position of being able to cross the boundaries between secular therapeutic practice and something that has a little bit more spiritual application to it. So I hope we can all come together and enjoy this practice together this evening. So let's kick off. So if I could simply invite everybody to get into a comfortable posture for round about 40 minutes or so of meditation. You're very welcome to either sit up for this or indeed to lay down for it, if that would be your preferred posture. But just moving into whatever position or posture is most appropriate for you in this moment, or will be the most comfortable for you. And I'm going to invite everyone just to take a moment or two to settle into that posture and position, and just to take this opportunity to get yourself as comfortable as it's possible and practical to be for you right now in this moment. You might want to just very lightly just scan through the body, just to make sure that you are as comfortable as it is possible to be right now. And if you should find any very mild background tension or discomfort anywhere, perhaps something that's not really bothering you in this moment, but which might become a little bit irritating, say 5 or 10 minutes after being sitting in the same posture, then now's the ideal time just to shift about a little bit in order to try and release that if you can. But always remembering that during the meditation itself, if you do need to move during the meditation, that is fine. We're not under any obligation to kind of stay rigidly still during the meditation. It can be helpful just to drop the shoulders a little bit, or if you're feeling a little bit more extrovert, you might even want to roll the shoulders 2 or 3 times. It's just to free things up in the shoulders a little and get a little bit of relaxation underway before we begin. But then just allowing the shoulders to drop a little so that they're just falling away from the neck. And otherwise allowing your arms to rest comfortably and easily at your sides. And I would invite you just to soften and relax the hands a little bit, maybe by just flexing the fingers 2 or 3 times and then allowing the hands to soften and relax. but just resting the hands in whatever position feels most right and most comfortable for you in this moment. In the tradition that this particular meditation comes from, there's no correct position to have the hands in, so it's just resting the hands however feels most comfortable for you. And with all that preamble out of the way, I'm now going to invite us all to either close the eyes, or if it would be more comfortable for you, just to leave the eyes open but soften the gaze a little bit. That's a bit of a technical term, but for anyone who would prefer to keep their eyes open but isn't quite sure what that means, two easy ways to do that are to either just half close the eyes, which will just unfocus your vision a little bit, or alternatively, just rest your gaze in one position. That might be looking at a spot on the wall on the opposite side of the room, or maybe a position on the floor a couple of feet in front of you. And just allow the gaze to rest in that one position, but look at the surface you're looking at, more as though you're looking through the surface rather than at the surface. And you'll find that will just soften and relax the gaze a little. And now I'm going to invite us all just to take a moment or two just to stop. So treating yourself to just 2 or 3 moments that is a period of time that is just for you. A few moments of time in which nobody wants anything from you, nobody needs anything from you. There's nothing specific to do in this moment. And there's no need to make anything different. So you can just let go and relax, just allowing this moment to simply be just as it is. And you might want to use these first few moments as an opportunity to let go. Perhaps letting go of the day so far, or maybe for you it's the week so far. Just gently releasing all of that if you can. And if you can't quite manage that, please don't worry, it's not a problem. But just gently letting go as best as you can. And also using these first couple of moments as an opportunity to let go of anything that's preoccupying your mind in this moment. Just gently setting that aside just for now, if you can. Again, if you can't quite manage that, please don't worry, it's not a problem. But just gently setting aside as best as you can anything that's rolling around in the mind at this moment. Perhaps reminding yourself that you can always come back to it and deal with it a little later on, needs be. But if you can, just setting it aside just for now. And now, very gently, gathering your awareness, your attention, and refocusing on noticing your actual experience right now in this moment. And all that really means is simply noticing what it is that your physical senses are noticing anyway right now. A really good way to start with this is to simply notice and tune into the weight of your own body. Perhaps noticing how the weight of your body is sinking down very gently into the surface that's supporting you. Perhaps allowing the weight of your body to sink down just a little bit further into that surface. Allowing the body to soften a little as you relax into the support of the chair or the cushion or the sofa or the bed. And just allow the surface beneath you to hold you and cradle you as you just relax into that support. And now noticing the flow of sensations in those parts of your body that are in contact with the surface beneath you. And just bringing that flow of sensations into the foreground of your awareness. Allowing this dance of sensations to fill your awareness. And see if you can be in direct contact with the actual flow of sensations itself. Noticing perhaps how this is a fluid and constantly changing stream of sensations, with new sensations constantly arising, whilst other sensations are constantly dissolving. And allowing yourself to directly experience this dance of sensations. So not settling for any idea that the mind might create about how these sensations probably feel. And also not settling for any memory or recollection of how these sensations might have felt on a previous occasion when you've sat in meditation. Instead, just being in direct contact with these sensations just as they are right now. Almost as though it's the very first time you'd ever experienced them. Perhaps bringing an attitude of interest and curiosity to this, just to enable you to draw up a little bit closer and directly experience this flow of sensations just as it is right now. And now, very gently letting go of those sensations and expanding your awareness throughout the whole of the body and noticing what else your body can feel in this moment. That might include the sensations of your feet resting against the floor or the sofa or the cushion. And it will probably include the various different sensations of clothing and fabric in contact with the surface of your skin. And you might be able to feel the incredibly subtle sensation of the air in contact with the surface of your skin. And we can even take our connection to this sense of touch to a deeper and subtler level too, by simply noticing the temperature of the room that we're in. And seeing if you can hold all of this constellation of different sensations that is your body at rest in this moment. Seeing if you can hold that in the spaciousness of awareness. Allowing yourself to just rest back and let go while you simply watch these changing patterns of sensation. Just resting, just letting go, and allowing yourself to watch this field of sensations. And now very gently letting go of these sensations and expanding the scope of our awareness just one small step further to also include sound and hearing. And noticing the sounds that you can hear where you are right now. For many people, that might simply be the stillness and silence of the room that they're in. And in that case, just listening to the silence. But maybe there are some sounds present. The sound of a ticking clock. Maybe there are sounds of movement or activity from elsewhere in the house or the flat or the building. And perhaps there are sounds present from outside. Maybe the sound of traffic, the sound of people in the street. And perhaps you can even hear some incredibly faint sounds far, far off in the distance. Just allowing yourself to be open to all of this ocean of sound that surrounds us in all directions. And allowing each sound to simply wash through you, almost as though it's a physical sensation. And see if you can rest just a little bit more deeply into this mindful listening by letting go of the temptation to want to name or label or analyze the sounds, and instead just allowing yourself to experience them, letting each sound be a ripple in the spaciousness of awareness, and allowing yourself to savor and relish the different tones and textures and qualities of the sounds. And noticing also how you don't have to do anything at all in order to hear these sounds or experience these body sensations. Because all of this constant play of sound and sensation, it all arises spontaneously within the spaciousness of our awareness. So for the next few minutes of this period of meditation, there's absolutely nothing that you need to do. You truly can just let go and relax and allow everything to be just as it is. Just resting, just letting go, and allowing everything to unfold in its own way. And now, as we continue to rest together in stillness, I invite you to notice that you're breathing. Just notice the gentle wave-like motion of your own breath, and see if you can find the place where you can feel the rhythm of your breathing most clearly and most distinctly. For some people, the breath will be felt most clearly in the movement of the air against the nostrils, feeling the air as it's drawn in and feeling the air as it flows out. For other people, the rhythm of the breath will be felt most clearly in the gentle rising and falling of the chest, or in the very gentle expansion and contraction of the abdomen. But just finding the place where you can feel the rhythm of your own breathing most clearly, and just allowing your awareness to rest there. Just resting back into the breath, feeling the in-breath and feeling the out-breath, and noticing the short pauses in between. Rising with the in-breath and falling with the out-breath. And see if you can stay with the breath through the full cycle of breathing in and breathing out. Just feeling the in-breath and feeling the out-breath. And each time you notice that the momentum of your mind has drawn you away into thinking or planning or daydreaming, then simply noticing where the mind has taken you to, and then very gently but firmly letting go of the thinking and escorting your awareness back to the breath. Just landing back gently into the rhythm of the breath, rising with the in-breath and falling with the out-breath. Like a small boat riding the gentle waves of a calm ocean or lake, just rising with the in-breath and falling with the out-breath. No need to reach forward for the next breath, and no need to try and hang on to the breath that's just gone. Instead, simply being with this breath. Feeling the in-breath and feeling the out breath, and just allowing yourself to dissolve into the spaces in between. Just riding the breath. Allowing the wave-like motion of your own breathing to just fill your awareness. And now, very gently letting go of the breath and just being aware of the spaciousness of awareness itself. Just resting back into that expansive spaciousness that is holding everything. That vast open space in which each experience arises, unfolds, and passes. And just resting into that. Just being one with awareness itself. Resting into that awareness, which is like a spotless mirror, reflecting everything that passes, whilst the mirror itself is never affected or changed by anything that passes through. Just resting back into that awareness, being that awareness. Witnessing everything that arises and passes, but never being affected or changed by anything that has occurred. Just resting in that awareness. And now, very gently, once again, noticing that you're breathing. Bringing your awareness back to the gentle rhythm of the breath. And resting back into the rising and falling of the breath. Feeling the in-breath and feeling the out-breath. And now gently letting go of the breath. And once again expanding your awareness throughout the whole of the body. Feeling your feet in contact with the floor or the sofa, the cushion or the bed. Feeling your legs and your thighs in contact with the surface that's supporting you. Feeling your fingers and your hands. Feeling your arms feeling your tummy and torso, feeling your chest, feeling up through your shoulders, your neck, your face and your head. And just for one more minute now, being aware of the whole body, gently sitting or lying, and gently breathing. And now, very gently, to bring this period of meditation to a close, beginning to move just a little, perhaps by flexing or wiggling fingers and toes just a little. And then maybe beginning to stretch and move the body just a little bit more. And in your own time, when you feel ready, there is no rush. In your own time, gently opening the eyes, but first of all, noticing the room that you're in, noticing the colors, the shapes, the patterns. And then when you feel ready, bringing your attention back to the screen and just reconnecting with the rest of us here, with this community of people who've just shared in this meditation all around the world. Thank you.